Hey, everyone out there. Thank you so much for tuning into another Addicted Fishing podcast. As always, it feels like I'm apologizing on these podcasts damn near every time we record them, because it'll be like we'll record like 2 and then we'll go like a month and not record them. And then when's the last one that was uploaded, Clint? Like December 24th or something? December 18th.
I was gonna say maybe even a little
December
longer.
18th, I think it was. Like, it was a long time ago. But we're here. We're here now, and that's all that matters. So
Yep.
And I will, to start this thing off, Jason, I got to say, before we bring our special guest in here, it has been an amazing steelhead season. If you have not been out on the water, you better get your butt out there and go fishing.
It's been a good year for, given the water conditions we've had. We've had a lot of low, clear, or complete opposite, muddy and high. And if you've been out there when it's been, good conditions, it's been very favorable.
It has been. It has. I mean, at least for me, it seems like every time I've gone this year, I've been successful, like at least getting a fish or 2 or 3, or sometimes a lot more than that.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of memories in the last few years where I remember floating a lot of times and not even hooking one.
All days are good, just some better than others.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, let's bring our special guest in. As you guys know, we love to bring on new sponsors, especially for products that we truly, truly believe in. And so we have decided to partner with Korkers. So we have Brian here from Korkers, and man, I'm super excited to be working with you guys. It's been like long time coming, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. We overdue.
I feel like there was some slight conversations couple years ago that never really materialized into anything, and then here we are now, and we're working together, and I'm freaking stoked.
Yeah, it's great. I'm excited about it. We love what you guys are doing. Love the fact that you're educating new anglers and getting new people into the sport. I was fortunate enough to have a dad that hunts and fishes and does all that stuff, and so I got into it as a youngster. But I think it's a tough sport to get into if you don't kind of have a mentor. So what you guys are doing is awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I mean, that's the whole, anyone who's kind of followed along with the Addicted journey, they know that's the reason why I started it, and that's the reason why we continue it. So it's good to hear that from you. So let's talk a little bit about Korkers. Give me like a quick 10,000-foot view of how the whole company kind of started and where you've taken it.
Sure. So it's kind of a longer story, so I'll try to make the quick version of it. But actually, Korkers was started in 1969 down in Grants Pass. And it was the original product was an overshoe cleat designed for loggers. So it was actually meant for the logging trade.
Yep.
Crazy.
During that time, they were moving a lot of logs through the river systems down to California for the housing boom and all that stuff. And these guys would surf on the logs down the river, and they needed studded footwear. So the Smith family down in Grants Pass actually started making overshoe cleats that these guys could wear on their boots. Kind of fast forward, guys like Frank Moore, legendary kind of steelhead guy, had owned the Steamboat Inn. He was the Korkers' first retailer. He found the products, and back then it was rubber hip boots with hard rubber soles, so there wasn't a lot of options for traction. And so they found those boots, they found those cleats, and they started using them over the top of their rubber boots. And that's how Korkers got into the fishing industry.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it goes way back, and it was kind of a secondary business for the Smith family. They did it on the side, but literally people have sent us in like handmade out of tires. They cut rubber tires up and would staple carbide spikes into the cleats, and basically really kind of crude, but that's
crazy.
how they made them.
That is nuts.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So it goes way back. Like 1959 is kind of the first kind of time we could figure out when Korkers were really around.
Right.
And I got involved. I was living in California, and I was contemplating moving back to Oregon. I'm from Oregon, raised in Portland. And my dad had a buddy that had just bought Korkers from the original family there. So he bought it kind of a little bit as a retirement project. And I worked for him. A couple older guys were running it, and they wanted a younger guy to come in and do all the shows and travel and
do
all the
groundwork.
sales and marketing. Yeah, exactly. They didn't want to do that stuff. So I came in, did all that, and they were working on a prototype of our interchangeable sole system when I started there, and we brought it to market, and it did pretty well. But we had a lot of issues kind of dealing with manufacturing and things like that, a lot of late product and stuff like that. So anyways, 3 or 4 years went by, and sales were growing, but company was a little underfinanced, and maybe in a spot where kind of needed to push forward with new financing. And so my dad and I put together a proposal, and we ended up buying the business from the previous owner, who kind of felt like it was getting a little bit more than he wanted to take on. So that's how I got involved.
And how many years ago was that, you think?
That was late 2007. So I've been doing this a while. But right when I started, we had some stuff that we had to take care of. There was original Soul system was a little less it was a little less reliable than we wanted it to be. So we went to work, and I went over to Asia. Had never really done any of that stuff, so I kind of taught myself on the fly how to work with product, how to work with manufacturers. And just basically we ended up working with a design firm here locally that had worked with a lot of major shoe companies, so they were really helpful in getting us kind of started. But we came out with progressive ideas. I actually contacted BOA a long time ago, and we helped BOA develop the reel systems for fishing, because at that time they were just a mountain sport, snow sports kind of thing. So we always just kind of looked for different ways to make some boots that are innovative and different. And a lot of the advice I would get early on was, just make your boots just like Sims or whatever else. And I was kind of like, no, we're going to make them different. We're going to try to make them lighter weight. We're going to try to, put things like the BOA system together, interchangeable outsoles. So we've done a lot to try to push the category forward. And if you kind of look at when we first started compared to where boots are today, I mean, they definitely have come a long ways.
That's for sure.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
They're pretty crude back in the day. It was just not a lot of style to them, not a lot of innovation. It's just
clunky,
kind of
heavy.
Exactly.
Yeah, they've come a long ways.
They glue on a felt sole to look like it was going to fall off and stuff like that. So anyways.
And the style thing too, I think that's a big thing. A lot of guys, it's like, a lot of guys don't care, but there's a lot of guys that really care. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I like that. I like that part. I like to have something a little stylish.
For sure.
Growing up in Portland, I was a big Nike guy, just like Air Jordan, 1984. I mean, I remember telling my uncle, who's a stockbroker, I want to buy some Nike stock. They have this guy Michael Jordan, so I was into the whole Nike thing. So just kind of always been a fan of shoes and kind of like the latest styles. I played basketball and other sports, and always wanted to have the cool shoe. So we've tried to take some of that to
play good, man.
There you go. We try to take some of that to the river, right? So some pretty cool looking boots. At least we think so. And just again, looking for ways to innovate, make the experience better for people, faster on and off with the BOA system. Things like that have really propelled us into a market share position that where Sims and Korkers are kind of the two top manufacturers of footwear for the wading space.
For sure.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And now we fast forward to 2025. And we have launched a collab boot with you. We have launched an ADX Chrome Light boot. And your Chrome Light that you already currently make, I didn't really honestly know much about it until I started kind of doing research into our partnership. And I have to say, and I think Jason would agree with me, like, I've never worn as comfortable as a wading boot as those ones in my life.
Nope.
And I'm a guy who has been a diehard Sims guy. You guys have heard it for years. Like, I've probably owned 30, 40 pairs of Sims wading boots over my fishing career. And when I put these things on the first day, I remember thinking, oh man, I'm never really going to like these things, like the BOA system and all that. And I was hesitant with you. I even talked to you about it, Brian. And it took about an hour of wearing those boots, and I was just sold. And same with Big Dave. Like, Big Dave called me the first day he had them and was like, Marlon, why have I not had these boots before?
Dude, the BOA system will change your life, especially when you're in the boat most of the time. It's like you're not hiking around, not trudging through, where you have to have them cinched down super tight. You can really customize where, your foot is held down with that tightness.
For sure. And the thing that's cool about these is even if you are on the bank, the thing I like about these is, like me and you talk, the way the BOA system is routed now, when you're tightening it, you can see it's evenly tightening from the bottom all the way to the top of the tongue. And so I can get them pretty tight. Like, I feel like I could hike pretty comfortable in them and not have any issues.
Yeah. So that boot, the Chrome Light ADX boot, we did what's called the sequence lacing on the BOA. So it's a little bit of a different setup than all of our other boots.
Yeah.
But the idea is that it's supposed to pull pretty evenly across the boot.
And it does. Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. And then there's all these little things that you guys put onto the boot. I'm going to pull one out. A lot of you guys probably aren't going to be able to see this because we don't ever do videos of these, but like this little thing. What would you call this here? So on the end, what is? I've been struggling to say what this is every time I talk about it.
I'll give you the terminology that we call it a heel kick. So it's basically used to kind of kick off your boots when you're done for the day. So with a BOA, which is great, pop the boa forward, and the whole boot comes off. But you can just basically kick them off by scraping your other boot against here and just kicking them right off. You don't even have to touch the boot.
So not something that you would think is that big a deal, but I can tell you in owning wading boots for my whole life, it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
It's a huge deal. So, and then just like you said, when you open the boa system on them, and again, guys, we'll have tons of videos of this coming. If you're just listening to the podcast, make sure you stay up to date on the YouTube videos, or we have a live feed that we're going to be recording here pretty soon as well. You guys can go back and watch to actually see this stuff in action. But as you loosen the boa and then open the boot up, it just slides so smooth off and on your foot.
Yeah.
And you have this stretch right here on the back, which I don't know, what would you call this? Is this like a neoprene or something?
Yeah, it's like a neoprene. We call it, it's kind of like a Lycra neoprene. What we call it a stretch cuff. So it's kind of, the idea here is as you turn the boa and you cinch the boot up, this is almost like having kind of like an ace bandage wrapped around your ankle. So you get support, but it still has a lot of flexibility.
For me, that makes the boot.
Yeah.
It makes it super comfortable.
Yeah, I wore the Devil's Canyon for that reason.
Right.
Because they're just so comfy.
And so this boot, this boot's not an interchangeable sole boot, but we brought it out last year, super successful. But we took a lot of what some of the better selling features are of a lot of different boots, and we kind of mashed them all together.
Right,
so this is kind of like the Devil's Canyon.
Exactly.
This is what we call Exotech on the outside. It's a polyurethane outer. And what it does is it just gives it another layer of skin, kind of like an exoskeleton for abrasion resistance. So from a durability standpoint, this is like having rubber on the outside of your boot, which is super durable. That's why they make car tires out of rubber, because they're durable. So
exactly
that, and we did it in a honeycomb pattern. So we took some of the weight out, because a lot of times if you add rubber, then it's going to add weight.
For sure.
And the idea kind of behind this boot in general was we wanted to do a boot with a BOA system that was under $200. And to do that, we decided to do it on a fixed sole, so non-interchangeable, to keep the weight down, but also just to keep the parts down. Because with our interchange system, there's a lot of parts, so it adds up in cost, and it kind of adds more complexity to the boot.
And to have this boot under $200 is pretty crazy to me.
It's nuts.
It's a super good deal.
Yeah.
Super
so like our competitors, Sims, Orvis, and some other ones that have BOA, I mean, they're at $300. So we're, $120 less. So it's a high performance boot, but it's not overpriced. And part of our strategy for pricing is just not to overcharge for stuff. I mean, obviously, if this had a different brand on it, we could probably charge more. But kind of our target for these types of products is, we have different buckets and different price points, but we always try to pack in a lot of value.
Yeah,
for sure.
Not overcharge for it.
That's the one thing that I've always noticed about Korkers. You get a really high quality product for a very reasonable price.
Right. I mean, I grew up wearing Hodgmans, and I was never gonna buy a boot for over $100 back in the day, and so we stick with that just because we know that a lot of people, they can't afford to buy, $500-$600 waders, $200-$300 wading boots and stuff like that. So try to pack in as much as value as we can to them. And with this one, we were super happy to get to $179. So,
and one last thing I'll say about it, guys, is the lightness of it. They call it the chrome light, and they are not lying. Like, these things are insanely light. I've compared them to a lot of my other wading boots, even some of the lighter ones that I've bought, and they're freaking light.
Yeah.
They are way light. You don't even feel them when you're wearing them all day. So we're running out of a little bit of time here, but before we end, I just wanted to say, appreciate all you addicts listening in. You will be able to buy these boots. They are for sale right now on pre-order. We will be at the Portland Sportsman Show here coming February 12th through the 16th or 17th. I can't remember, but somewhere in there. Clint is planning on hopefully having this podcast out before them because he loves me. And hopefully you guys will hear about these boots. And I appreciate you coming in, Brian.
Yeah, we're excited to partner up with you guys. It's like you said, it's a little overdue, but happy to do it. And two good Northwest brands coming together, and really looking forward to the partnership.
Absolutely. And if you guys are listening to this podcast, make sure you go back, try to find the live feed, because we're recording a live feed right after this. And as you guys know, it gives us a lot more time. We usually are on those things for a couple hours, so be a lot more in-depth. We'll be able to talk about the boots, talk about the Korkers partnership, and all that. So appreciate all you addicts out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you on the river.
Cheers.
Cheers.